Sex offenders are living next door to schools and daycares.
And many times the authorities don't even know about it or can't do anything about it.
2 Wants to Know's Tanya Rivera found out how and why this is happening.
A little over a year ago, the state passed a law banning sex offenders from living within 1,000 feet of a school or daycare. And in fact, every single registered sex offender has to initial that they know that. But lawmakers just simply left it up to authorities to figure out if any of them were breaking the law.
I just knew that because I was behind a meal that I would have plenty of daycare kids.
Renita Yao grew up near this mill neighborhood, so it was just natural that she would choose it for her home-based daycare business.
It was quiet.
But it might not be without danger. A sex offender lives nearby.
I just have to make sure that my kids stay in my sight.
In Renita's case, we found not just one, but 2 sex offenders in her neighborhood.
And I did not know a sex offender was over here.
And today, when I knocked on your door, I told you there was another one.
Yes, and that shocked me even more.
2 Wants to Know mapped out all the registered sex offenders in the triad, then using data from the state, added all the schools and daycares within 1,000 feet. While the law keeps sex offenders from moving within 1,000 feet of a school or a daycare like this one here in Burlington, it also allows sex offenders who lived there before the law went into effect to stay there. And what that means for the precious little tots daycare is that they're sandwiched in between sex offenders. There's one here at the end of the street, and the other lives right on the other side of this fence. And there's nothing that anyone can do about it.
Can be almost feel-good legislation. It's not really as effective as it may seem to be on its surface. They are grandfathered in, so they cannot be forced to move.
2 Wants to Know found 227 sex offenders living too close to a school or daycare in the triad, and we shared that with investigators.
The distance is right here. In this particular case, it looks like it's about 790 feet.
Eddie Sheffield checked the names on our list. He measures in 2 ways, using the county tax office maps and
We're going to have to dodge traffic.
one step at a time, with a rolling tape measure.
This is where it can get a little dicey when you go across a 4-lane road.
Sheffield has to manually check the distance of sex offenders living near schools and daycares. It's very un-high-tech.
I was investigating accidents with one of these things 30 years ago, so yeah.
The state provides no system to cross-check, no mapping system, and no money to help authorities figure out if sex offenders are breaking the law.
We have to do this on an individual county-by-county basis, and I'm afraid that's going to vary to some degree between counties depending on what systems they've got in place, what type of technology they have in place, and as affect most of us in this day and age, the manpower they have that have the ability to go out and do these type of follow-ups to ensure that a registered sex offender are in fact complying with their conditions.
And while the 2 sex offenders in Renita's neighborhood are grandfathered in, it doesn't make her feel any safer.
Even if I tell my daughter to go take the trash out, someone has to be standing on the porch to make sure she's okay.
Many psychologists believe that sex offenders can be treated but not cured. I talked with a local psychologist that works with sex offenders. His entire interview is on our website. Go to digtribe.com, search sex offender.
Amazing, Tanya, thank you. If you believe a sex offender is living too close to a school or daycare, authorities say you shouldn't hesitate to call them, and they will check it out.